Heading into Season 5 of Roostertail Talk presents SNHL Division 1, the question is who could top Eddie Canfouche? The two-time defending champion is riding high with a new scheme and sights set on a three-peat in the National High Point standings. But a pack of weathered SNHL veterans and quick newcomers from Division 2 are hoping to knock Canfouche off the top step. Who will conquer the mountain this year? We'll find out as D1 kicks off the season in Chelan, Washington for the Apple Cup. Final heat coverage is next.
Chelan, it's the 2022 Saturday Night Hydro League Apple Cup. Brought to you by Roostertail Talk, a podcast dedicated to everything related to the sport we all love, hydroplane racing.
Hello everyone, my name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., the voice of the Saturday Night Hydroplane League. Welcome to Chelan and the Apple Cup. As we come into Season 5, the question is who can stop Eddie Canfouche? Our two-time defending champion has a brand new scheme in the U1 Mont work and is looking for a third straight championship, but it's not going to be as easy as some might think. We've got a lot of wily veterans and some very quick newcomers that are coming to take that title off of the U1. But before we get into today's final heat, we first have to check up on the up-and-comers in the Saturday Night Hydroplane League. It is time for our inaugural edition of the D2 Update. And last time out in Division 2, the up-and-coming Stars started their season in Chelan with the D2 Apple Cup. And Pete Lacoste in the Miss Dunn's Famous, presented by Local 144, was the class of the field, qualifying second and taking the win in the final. Cody Gervais in the Lumar Window Films and Eldon Sams in the Miss Basin Disposal rounded out the top three. Lacoste will take the early points lead as we head into round 2, the Orange Cup Regatta in Miami, Florida. Heading into our inaugural run here at Chelan as far as SNHL is concerned, the big question is how aggressive do you want to fly this boat? The more aggressive you are on the canard pedal, the bigger speed you can find. However, get too aggressive with it and you can easily end up on your lid and out of this final heat. The first 400 points of the season are on offer. 6 boats will be on your front line. 1 boat will be the trailer for a 7-boat final. Officials, let's turn them loose. Engines fired up here at Chelan. Wind is about 9.5, so this is going to be a challenging course for our racers. As you see the field head out onto the water, let's see how everyone got to the final heat today. And we'll start with Eddie Canfouche, our National High Points champion. He's here on 850 points, won 2 of his 3 qualifying heats, and qualified 5th on the night. Tyler Sams second with 782 points. He qualified 7th, went 3rd, 1st, and 5th in his qualifying heats to make it here. Next up is Brian Ollinger and Miss Presley May. Qualified 2nd, went 2nd, 5th, and 3rd in his 3 qualifying heats. Ollinger and Sams, 2 of our D2 qualifiers into D1. And Scott Przbilski, the game maker, qualified 10th, but that did not stop him for winning 2 of his 3 qualifying heats. He's here on 1,055 points. And Nick Kish on 725 qualified 13th, went 2nd, and 6th. That was enough to get him a spot in the final. and Tim Johnson is next, our qualifying ace, won first, second, and first in his 3 qualifying heats. Qualifying third, he's on 1,170 points. And our trailer is Mickey Washburn, qualified first, went second, fourth, DNF to Heat 3B, but did win the Connie to get here as the trailer. He will start 5 seconds behind the field. So here we go now with 3 minutes and 17 seconds until the start. As you can see, the field's starting to line up. We do have the 1 minute pin here, so we do not have to worry about the 80-mile-an-hour rule. Let's both head down towards turn number 1. Scott Przybylski is coming to the outside of Eddie Canfouche, as Eddie looks like he's going to get himself a prime trolling spot, but Scott going to go down to turn number 1. No, Scott's going to go in front of Eddie and take that lane 1 position away. So Eddie, for now, we forced out into lane number 2. As Nick Kish comes to the outside, he'll head to turn number 1. He has elected to continue around. So about 2 minutes and 42 seconds until the start. There's a big 3-mile course here at Chelan, so they're going to have a long run down to the commitment buoy, which is the last turning buoy before, or last straight line buoy rather, until turn number 2. But for now, everyone just trying to get into a good position to make that run around to the 1 minute pin and down the back stretch. Because now we have a duel going on here between Eddie and Scott on who is going to go around and reset, and it looks like Eddie Canfouche is going to lose that deal to Scott Przybylski. Scott will hold the lane 1 position. Canfouche in the Montwork will have to go back around and reset. So here's a look at Nick Kish continuing down the back stretch, heading into turn number 2. Now you can see we have big wide turns here at Chelan, and you would say that this would be a course where you can't get into a lot of trouble, but folks, this is Roostertail Talk SNHL Division 1. These guys are going to throw elbows at each other no matter how wide the course is. So Mickey Washburn heads through turn number 1. We are now 40 seconds until the start. As now we get a shot of Tyler Sams, Tim Johnson, Brian Ollinger. They are all sitting on the front stretch. And you just heard all 3 of them beginning to spool up as they're going to try to get this launch around the outside. Now the problem is here, where can Mickey Washburn slot in between these boats, as he's a little late trying to make this cut. Tyler Sams is going to get away first, so Mickey's going to have to give him way, and Ollinger is also going to be in Mickey Washburn's way, so Mickey has to go to the outside of all of those boats. That is going to compromise his lane selection. As now we're 10 seconds until the start. We ride along with Tyler Sams. We come around turn number 1 at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark! Tim Johnson was too early. He's got to go around again. Tyler Sams there in lane number 2. You ride along with the Montwork of Eddie Canfouche. He is in prime position in lane number 1. Sams is, I think he's going to have the ability to get over into lane number 1. He's starting to move over, but I think Eddie's just going to keep that door open just enough to hold on to lane number 1 as we ride down to the commitment buoy, and Eddie Canfouche is going to find himself a lane in there and take lane number 1 for this start. So these are your lanes. Eddie in 1, Tyler Sams in 2, Brian Ollinger in 3, Scott in 4, outside is Nick Kish. Our trailer is Mickey Washburn. Tim Johnson was late as he had to go back around. He will be on the way outside as we get ready to start this final heat. Coming off of turn number 2 now at 9 seconds. As we come to the start-finish line, they should be able to keep their feet in it from here as we are at 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, mark! And it's a good start, and we are underway. Scott Przybylski there in lane number 3 got to the start-finish line first. As we head down towards turn number 1, you get a shot of all 4 boats looking right at us. Nick Kish is there to the outside. He's going to get gobbled up, though, as we head into turn number 1. It's actually Scott Przybylski from lane number 4, excuse me, while Tyler Sams, he is in the tunnel. That's not where he wants to be, and that flyer just went out on that U0 Misnos Energy. That boat just ingested a lot of water. He got wet, and he is going to be deep in this field. We go back down the back straightaway for our first time. Scott Przybylski in lane number 3. You see him there on the right side of your screen. He has the lead. He's got Brian Ollinger in 2nd, and 1st is Eddie Canfouche. Eddie, big bounce there on the inside as he's trying to take the lead away, and it is a Jay Ayler triple-decker, but it's not going to matter for one of these boats as the Presley May of Brian Ollinger, a lane infraction. That's going to be a penalty, and that will effectively take him out of this heat. So those 3 boats you see on the screen, only 2 of them are really racing for this win. That is Eddie Canfush and Scott Przybylski. The Presley May almost gets wet, but he's going to drop out of this battle, and he's going to allow the U1 and the U8 to fight for it as we start lap number 2, as the Montwork pulls ahead of Mr. Pringles and the Easton Eagle, Nick Kish. A great finish for him, looks like it's coming, as he is currently in 3rd, but he wants 2 more spots as we head into turn number 1 for the first time. The U1 Montwork, this gray, black, and gold boat of Eddie Canfush, now starts to stretch out the lead. It's about a rooster tail between him and Mr. Pringles. You saw Mr. Presley May, he's in 2nd, but he has a penalty for that lane infraction. As they come through, there is Mickey Washburn in the Coca-Cola. Mickey Washburn did get a good start here, as well as Tim Johnson, and Tyler Sams is going to bring up the field. Remember, he got wet there on the opening turn. It looks like that was because Miss Presley May kind of went into his lane. That cost Tyler, and that cost Miss Presley May even more. But as we're down through the backstretch already, heading into turn number 2, and the U1 Montwork is doing what we saw so much in Season 4. Eddie Canfush got a great start in a prime lane, and he is getting gone here in the U1 as we get ready to start lap number 3. Remember, we go around 5 times. And it's Montwork leading the way with Eddie Canfush, Mr. Pringle, Scott Przybylski 2nd, Nick Kish, the Easton Eagle, is 3rd, and Miss Presley May of Brian Ollinger still giving it a ride. He does have that penalty, but he needs to keep going, because if there's a problem with some of the boats behind him that are also technically in front of him, he's going to gain those positions if they DNF. So for Miss Presley May, the best thing that he can do, Brian Ollinger, is keep his foot in it, as Mr. Pringles is 2nd. Starting to lose touch with the Montwork. 3rd is the Easton Eagle of Nick Kitch, we said earlier. Here comes Mickey Washburn. He is in 4th. He was, as I said at the start, he was the beneficiary of the issues with Tim Johnson and Tyler Sams. He picks up a couple of spots here. But as we continue down the back straightaway, Eddie Canfush flying that right spots in. But he's got a great lead between him and the U86 Mr. Pringles as Montwork comes through turn number 2. It's now a rooster tail between him and the U21 as we get a shot here of Tyler Sams. And Sams is going up and over in a spectacular flip. Tyler Sams, well, his first debut in SNHL final, or Division 1 final, goes from bad to worse. The U0 is out of the race. We continue here on lap number 4. U1 Montwork continues to lead. Mr. Pringles 2nd, and the Easton Eagle is in 3rd. But it has been smooth sailing so far for Eddie Canfush as he heads through turn number 1. Miss Presley May, man, what could have been for Brian Ollinger? He did just gain a spot with Tyler Sams going over, but unfortunately, instead of 2nd, it's going to be later down the field. As the field continues to turn number 1, there's Mickey Washburn, still sitting in the 4th spot. Behind him is Tim Johnson. He is 5th. As we head down the back straightaway, as the field's starting to stretch out now, as we're getting through to turn number 2 here on this big 3-mile course. The 9.5-mile-an-hour winds caught out at least one boat, but it has not caught out the U1 as we head through turn number 2, looking for the white flag as Eddie Canfush looking to start his championship fight with a win in the Apple Cup and tell the rest of the field, you have to beat me if you want this if you want to take away my opportunity to get a 3rd straight championship. As we start the final lap, Montwork leads the way. Mr. Pringles is 2nd, and the Easton Eagle is in 3rd. The Miss Presley May continuing to push, but remember, that boat not a factor here. But Eddie Canfush looks like he's starting to let that foot up just a little bit as he's got this wind pretty much under control, provided he doesn't have a mistake down the back stretch. Mr. Pringles continuing to push, but I think Przybylski might have to settle for 2nd, but he does have the Easton Eagle sneaking up behind him. 4th continues to be Mickey Washburn. He's kind of in his own little island by himself, and Tim Johnson is in 5th. Those are the boats that are continuing to run. Miss Presley May is in the 6th spot. But as we head down towards turn number 2, it has been easy street for the U1. Got lane number 1, held it from the start, and has cruised to a sure victory here in the Apple Cup. Let's come off turn number 2, looking for the checkered flag in the air, and 400 points are going to go to Eddie Canfush in the U1 Montwork. Canfush takes the win. And Scott Przybylski, the game maker, going to come across in second in the Mr. Pringles. He'll take 300 points. 225 going to go to Nick Kish and the Easton Eagle. A great run for Nick to start the year. Mickey Washburn going to finish up fourth in the Miss Coca-Cola. Fifth going to be Tim Johnson in the Miss Tri-Cities. And sixth going to be Miss Presley May in the U21. So there is Eddie Canfouche, takes the win, picks up 1,250 points on the event, but most importantly, he takes the Apple Cup win. A lane infraction for that U21 knocks him down to 6th. And the Miss NOS Energy, Tyler Sams, the U0, just a bad start to his debut SNHL Division I final heat. Went from bad to worse, but that boat is going to be fast the rest of the year. So that is how things wrap up in the Apple Cup. But as we look at the National High Point standings, it will not be Eddie Canfouche that leaves here with the points lead. That'll be Scott Przybylski, who picks up 1,355 points on the event. Tim Johnson is second, 58 points back. And the Montwork, Eddie Canfouche, he'll start his championship defense in third, 105 points back, with the Easton Eagle and Miss Presley May rounding out the top 5. So that is how things wrap up from here in the Apple Cup. Let's hear from our winner, Eddie Canfouche. We're going to go ahead to a guy that he's mastering the game. He's mastering actual boat racing. If you saw his races during the summer, two-time defending champion Eddie Canfouche starts the season with a win in the Apple Cup. Eddie, congratulations, and frankly, that was just domination in the final heat.
Thank you very much, Daryl. That was a fun one, huh? The night went really well. Well, barring that third heat, that was kind of an unavoidable mess there with Scott and Kelsey and everyone. It's unfortunate circumstances, but luckily I was already locked into the final, and from there, just go out and do what I can. I saw an opportunity to get to lane 1. Tyler, he was clearing me down the backstretch, and he didn't move over, and I don't know why. He could have, but he didn't, so I was able to sneak back into 1, hit a good start, and then some chaos behind me unfolded, and I was able to break away.
So now we go from Chelan, we go to Miami next week. That track needs no other introduction, but you go from the largest track to the smallest track. How do you quickly shift gears and get ready for Miami?
Well, first of all, you remove the gearbox and throw it in the garbage. No, the setups are going to be a lot different just because, we're essentially cutting this course almost in half. Not quite exactly half. It's a little bigger than that, but we're going from such a massive course, big sweeping turns, giant straightaways. Now suddenly we got to get the little props in the little gears because we have 0 time to prepare for the turns.
So, Eddie, congratulations. We're basically taking a bunch of Unlimiteds and putting them on a GP course. That's basically what you're going to see next week.
A big GP course, but yeah, pretty much.
Right, Eddie, congratulations. We will see you in Miami.
All right. Thank you very much, Daryl. Thank you for running the stream for us, as always. You do a great job. We couldn't do it without you. And one last shout-out to Brian from Montwork. Let's go, buddy.
He's going to be excited because his paint scheme's going to Victory Lane here in Chelan. Congratulations, Eddie.
Thank you very much.
So that will do it for round 1 here in Season 5. Next time out, the Stars, the Roostertail Talk SNHL Division I, will head to the Miami Marine Stadium for round number 2 in the Orange Cup Regatta, where you have to battle the wake to try to get your shot at 400 points and a win in SNHL D1 final heat. So until then, my name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., the voice of Saturday Night Hydroplane League. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a wonderful day.